I thought in this video I would talk about my new compact camera, but I don't really know it well enough to do a review, so I thought I would talk about my first impressions. So why did I buy it? Well, I wanted a device that could take good photos as well as some great video, but the problem is there is no device that can kind of take care of all those needs and do it well. You're going to have to make compromises. I mean, camcorders, for example, can take some excellent video. I mean, they're designed for people who know nothing about video. They do great focus. They work pretty well in low light, and you can throw them into any situation and they'll do a good job. But they're not ideal for taking photos. Because they're a camcorder, they have to conform to a country's camcorder specifications, which is the video specifications for that country. So for example, if you buy a camcorder in the UK, it's PAL, it's either 50 interlaced frames, 25 progressive or 50 progressive. And if you're doing YouTube videos, I like a camera or a recording device that can do multiple frame rates. If I'm doing doing a video with some 60 FPS gameplay, I would like to be able to record a video in 60 FPS. And you can mix and match frame rates, but it's not ideal. Whereas if you use a DSLR camcorder, normally you can do different frame rates, different resolutions. They are great, but the problem I found with DSLR cameras is they are so time consuming. The autofocus is crap, which means you've got to position the camcorder, figure out your focus point, you've got to focus and hope that everything stays relatively within focus. You normally got to basically buy a decent lens, and it can be a bit tricky because there's no one size fits all lens. And I tend to find if I go out and about wanting to take video with a DSLR, I tend to find that the sheer weight, the lenses, and the setup just kind of, I don't know. I feel it kills the opportunities, which kind of put me in a weird situation. It's like, camcorders are not the answer. DSLRs are not the answer. I wanted something that felt like a mini DSLR, but also a really good camcorder, but something that I could put in my pocket that I could literally just whip out and take some decent videos, some decent photos, and video and photos that were better than my phone. And the only solution I found was a compact camera. Now, I did my research extensively, and I chose this camera for a lot of reasons. First, it can do some great video. It can do video in multiple resolutions. It's 720p, 1080p, 4K. I think in 720p you can do 25, 30, 60, and 120 FPS. In 1080p you can do 20. I think you can do 25, 30, 50 and 60 FPS, and in 4K you can do 25 and 30 frames. So frame rate wise, this thing is awesome. Resolutions wise, you're covered. If you want to just do it like a simple gameplay video with some 720p video or 1080p video, this thing will do it. If you want to do some vlogs or some videos in 4K, this thing, provided you have good light, is more than capable of good video. If you do video, the auto mode is fantastic. Just make sure you change the focus setting to face tracking. You do that, and this thing's going to do a great job. And also turn off the stabilization. Photos. This thing does some great photos. The only drawback to this camera for photos and video is the only real compromise with this. Well, there's two compromises, but the biggest one is the aperture. You can't open it as wide or close it as small as a DSLR. I think the lowest aperture is something like 3.3 and the highest is 8. So if you're out in bright sunny skies, some bits of your image are going to be clipping, unfortunately. And if you're in low light, the aperture can't go too low, so which means you're going to have to increase the shutter speed and maybe the ISO, which means you end up with slightly more grain and maybe slight more blur. So I guess the thing to take into mind with this is make sure you have good light. You've got good light, you'll be fine. So what's to talk about next? Why did I go with this specific compact camera? Well, I did my research and I wanted one that could do multiple resolutions, especially 4K, multiple frame rates, and this thing fit the bill. Also, it's got a flip screen, which is great for selfies or vlogging. And there are several models. I mean, this one is the Panasonic Lumix TZ90. Now, there were multiple models I was interested in. I was thinking about 3 models. There was the TZ80, which is almost exactly the same as this. It doesn't have a flip screen, and the sensor isn't quite as good for video. Then there's this, the TZ90, and then its bigger brother, the TZ10, which has a bigger sensor. The sensor's more capable of, it's better at getting light in low light. But the problem with the TZ100 is it costs more and it hasn't got a flip screen. And the TZ80 is cheaper than this, but again, that flip screen is really, really tempting. So I went with this. I got a great deal on it, actually. I got it as a refurbished model on eBay from the official Panasonic service. It's either basically Panasonic's got a page where they do refurbished products, and this is on there. I think full price this would have cost maybe, I don't know, 300, maybe 330. I got it for about 230 with a year's warranty. Now this is refurbished, so someone had it before me. Either it was a return or it got damaged. And as far as I can tell, other than one tiny little scuff mark there, it looked brand new to me. There's no marks on any of the optics, screen, or anything. The only complaint I'd have is the lens was slightly dirty, which I thought they would give a good clean. But again, it's not difficult to clean yourself. I guess one last thing to say is a lot of people might be looking at this video and think, why don't you just use your phone? Well, photos on my phone are alright, but there's only one focal length, which kind of sucks. Videos are alright on it, but there are the 4K on my phone eats my battery up, and you can only record about 5 minutes. On this, you can record 15 minutes in 4K, and not only that, but it does it at a higher bit rate, and it records 4K videos in MP4 format at 100 megabits per second using H.264 compression. Though all those things mean that editing the 4K video is a breeze on a half decent computer, because of the fact it's not using the newest compression, H.265, which is more CPU intensive. And also having the high bitrate means these files, even though they are large, they are, for an average decent computer, it's not much of a challenge to edit them. That was one thing. With my other phone, I tend to find the 4K videos are only 5 minutes max, and I think they're at 60 megabits per second, which means they're not particularly good quality to begin with, and at a lower bit rate, the quality is even crapper. I mean, this thing, as far as I'm concerned, blows my phone out of the water. It's really good. Again, I guess I want to conclude this video with this thing can kind of do a bit of everything. If you want to take some photos, you can, and the great thing is, because it's a compact camera, you can just whip it out, turn it on, snap, 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 snap. You haven't got to worry about anything. It's so quick to capture moments. Again, the photos and video are not going to be as good as a DSLR camera, but you got to think of it from this point of view. A DSLR camera, you got to carry the bulky thing. You got to make sure you got the right lens on, and you can miss moments, or you might even attempt to grab those moments because it's just not worth it. With this, it's no commitment to just grab it out and take some photos and videos. And again, if you're going to use this for taking videos at home, make sure you've got good lighting. Make sure you've got an external video recorder like this, because the audio is alright, but I've always for a long time recorded audio separately and then synced up myself, which is not a problem. Yeah, so if you're going to use this for video, just make sure you got it on a tripod, make sure you turn the stabilization off, make sure you've got the correct focus profile for face tracking. Yeah, so I'll conclude this video with, if you're looking for a good old purpose camera, video capture device, I would definitely say consider the Panasonic Lumix TZ90. Thank you for watching.